Lliam Buckley, back.
Yeah,
Esther's
man.
family.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Always a pleasure. So, got the record out.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, long time coming.
You and me both around
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah.
Competition.
Yeah, it was around the
Our
same-
genres are so close.
Yeah,
The
I know,
competition's
right?
real.
I know. I was nervous about that, but that's good. Yeah, at least we're running like a little bit different,
Yeah, exactly.
leagues. That's what.
Yeah, so not
But,
much crossover.
Yeah, not really. That would be a weird show if we played a show together.
True. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Yeah, you never know. Maybe there's like a festival out there that could work. So, hey, let's just go there. Speaking of festivals, good
Yeah,
segue.
true.
You guys
There
played
you go.
Summerfolk
Yeah,
up
that's
in
a great time.
almost my old stomping grounds, a little bit.
Oh,
little
really?
bit
You're
past.
from that way?
Yeah, I'm from Meaford, which is
Oh,
like
okay.
right beside the Owen Sound
Cool.
area. Except
Yeah, I
like it
think
was
we-
funny. I was thinking about this today that like there's like Collingwood, Thornbury, Meaford, Owen Sound, like all in the same
Yeah.
stretch of highway, but like the Collingwood, Thornbury, and Meaford are all really close. And then Thornbury talks to like Collingwood, but like nobody talks to Owen Sound.
Everyone's like, no, we don't
yeah,
want that.
nobody goes over there.
My family almost moved up to Owen Sound.
Oh, really?
And yeah, when we were looking on at places to move, and then we ended up in London instead.
Yeah, that's kind of
So,
weird.
My dad had a job lined up and everything. And
Oh,
then
wow.
Things just fell through, and then we ended up in London instead. So
Interesting.
funny story about Owen Sound.
Yeah, that's so I might even mention this to you like once you guys got the news that you like made it into the youth part of the festival, but my buddy Greg Smith was like helping run that. I think
Right.
you guys like all cross paths.
Yeah, I think we did cross. Paths.
Yeah.
I can't really put a face to that name.
Yeah,
right now,
but
it sounds
he's like
it's
kind of
ringing a
tall.
bell.
He's got blonde hair.
Yeah.
Also plays folk music.
Sick. Seems to be the type of
Yeah.
music out that way.
Yeah,
Which
he
is
was here like the weekend after all that. And he was like,
Okay,
I think I
cool.
met some of your friends.
Right. I think
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I talked to him
Yeah,
about you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Once again, I can't remember his face for
Yeah.
the life of me, but yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, him and I were in the first band I ever performed live in. I was
Okay,
in a band
cool.
with him. Yeah, and then we went separate ways. He did the folk thing,
That's the way it
and I
goes.
stayed true on the rock
There's
path.
our joint show. We got to do a show with him.
Yeah, true. There
right?
you go.
And
And then
then-
we'll get the band back together. Him and I'll get the
Exactly.
band back together.
There you go.
All right, so let's. So you guys won the what's like the name of it? It's not like the youth
It's
competition,
called
but the
Road to Summerfolk Youth Discoveries.
right.
It's a
There you
long,
go.
long
Yeah.
title.
So actually, it worked out well that you and Willem both.
Yeah, we both
made
went
it
up through it,
through.
and we both got in, and we got to drive up together,
Yeah.
which was a time and a half because our vehicle broke down on the way
Oh,
up.
really?
Yeah. Did I tell you that story?
No, I don't know.
Okay,
the
this is a
story.
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we drove with two of my vehicles, my Impala and my big GMC Safari, which my dad had just fixed because no one in Willem's band could get a vehicle. So we're
Oh,
like,
okay.
okay. Well, my dad was like, well, this band just needs a little bit of something, so
Mhm.
we'll get her going. And then, yeah, Willem was in the Impala, and we left a little bit after him, and we're driving in the van. And then all of a sudden, we go up some hill.
Yeah.
We're probably like 45 minutes out from Owen Sound.
Okay.
And Willem was like maybe 5 minutes out, like he's
Right.
almost there. And then we're going up a hill, and then all of a sudden I feel something go, and
Yeah.
it's like not accelerating anymore. Like it's just not going over 80. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just gonna pull over and check it out.
Yeah.
And just make sure everything's hunky dory, and then
Yeah.
it wouldn't start after that.
Oh no.
It would like you turn it on and it would like sputter.
Oh.
Then you put it into gear and it just kept stalling.
No.
Sometimes you couldn't even get it as far as putting it into gear.
Oh
So
my god.
we're like, maybe we're out of gas.
Yeah.
Which is another as soon before we had started, my dad went and filled up the car
Yeah.
van, and the van, its gas tank has a leak in it.
Oh, okay.
So before we even left, it was just pouring gas
Oh
out
my
the bottom. So we're like, well, this is great. We had to get a siphon because you can only fill it so far before
Yeah.
it goes above the level.
Right.
So we're like, maybe we just like, after we siphoned out too much gas and we're dead. So we go to this people's house, and they had like, for some reason, this old lady had like 25 liters of gas.
What?
Just in there. So we're like, sick,
It's like preparing
buy that
for the
off
end
you.
of the
And
world,
then
yeah.
filled it up, but it still didn't run. And I had brought tools specifically because we're like, we don't know how things are going with this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
our vehicle, and we actually had vehicle trouble the first time we went up for the finals.
Right.
I was like, I'm going to bring these tools, but I'm going to stick them in the back of Willem's car.
Oh,
because we'll be driving up together, and we weren't.
No.
So we had no tools. No idea what was going on. My dad, like, for some reason, my mom's phone had broke that day.
Oh, God.
So we're calling them and trying to get in touch with them, and they're not picking up. And yeah, we're calling my girlfriend's mom because she was with us and trying to get her to be like, hey, can you like go get my parents?
Yeah.
Figure out what's going on. Yeah, we never did figure out what was going on. We were at the side of the road. We tried a bunch of different stuff. Made friends with a nice lady in the house.
Yeah.
She told us her name was Carly.
Okay.
But said so very with like a pause. I was like, oh, I'm Liam. Like, what's your name? And she was like, Carly. And we're like, is that?
Yeah, is it really your name?
So Carly was a bro. She helped us out, gave us water, and we tried a bunch of stuff, but couldn't get it going. And finally, Skylar, another MIA person, was assistant to the artistic director.
Right.
She's got a dope position there. She's friends with all those people. She's actually how we found out, or they're actually how we found out about the event.
Okay.
So that was fun. And so give her a call, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna try and figure out what we can do, but like the festival's just starting. You guys don't play till tomorrow, so we'll figure it out. And it was okay. We weren't stressed.
Yeah.
So we just chilled out in the van for a while. Eventually, I got a hold of my parents, but they had no idea what was going on. And we just chilled out in the van, watched that new Netflix or that new special that Childish Gambino. Someone had it on their laptop, so we just chilled out and watched that for a while. And eventually Skylar was like, okay, I'm going to borrow the artistic director's van and I'm going to drive out to you. And Willem's going to drive out to us as well. Yeah. He's going to drop off all the stuff he had in his car and we're going to pick up as much as you guys as we can. And go back. We also had a trailer on the van that broke down at the side of the road. So that we were the whole time we're like, what are you going to do with this trailer? So Carly came through and we put the trailer in her lot. Skylar came. We put all the stuff in their car and then they drove back and we put as much stuff as we could in the Impala, and me and my girlfriend just hung out and waited for the tow truck, which was another like 45 minutes before they came. Man. And finally when they did come, because it was CAA on her mom's card. Oh, okay. And then they're like, oh, CAA never checks. Don't worry about it. Just pretend to be me. Yeah, and then they came, they're like, sick. And they're like starting to put it on. They're like, now we just need your ID and we'll be good to go. And we're like, okay, let's go to the car and get it. Yeah. So we go to the car and we're like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. This guy's gonna be all pissed and then he's gonna just leave us with the car, the van. So then I just pull everything out of the car and just make it look like I'm looking for it. And we had so I pull all this stuff, I'll throw it all over the side of the road, and then I run up to the guy and I'm like when they came to take all our stuff, they must have like grabbed her purse and put it in the car and like driven away with him. He's like, oh, I just need some ID. He's like, no, we have nothing. Like he's like, oh, okay. He's like, all right, then no big deal. And then he loaded it up and he's like, it's just like protocol, whatever. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, sick. He's like, yeah, you're good to go, whatever. And I'm like, okay, then I'm leaving now. And we just booked it. And he towed it back to London. We left the stand-up bass in it, and it made it back alive. And turned out when it got back to London, it was just something like if you had unplugged a sensor that had just gotten knocked, it would have run. So that's why I need to learn about cars.
Yeah. Man, that's the
way it goes. Anyways.
Thing with cars, man.
Anyways, we made it eventually. It was about a 10-hour journey to get there when it should have only been like 3 hours, at least for me, because I hung around with the van afterwards and it took us forever. And then I ran into a pylon with the other car on my way finally. Like I finally made it to Owen South. And then we're driving along and there are all these pylons blocking off the parking area. And then we hit it and like takes off our rear view mirror and all like this because I was already stressed and I was like, I don't know where I'm going and I'm in the car forever. So yeah, we broke many a vehicle driving up there. But we made it.
That's long-winded story. That's wild. I'm gonna circle back around to Summerfolk, but I have a car breaking down story about and driving it back to Meaford. So I had like a Pontiac for a while and it was like, I guess like those cars just sucked and I bought it 10 years old. And drove it for 2 and like I drove it like kind of hard. So last summer it was like just getting like worse and then it like was smelling like gas all the time and so I drove it home and like Meaford being a small town, like my family just like knows all the mechanics. So the one guy's like, just bring it in, I'll like look at it totally for free, like I'll just let you know what's wrong with it. Cool. Looks at it and he's like, yeah, like this is like it's done. He's like, he's like, you can fix it for like this much money, but honestly, it's not worth it.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. So like, thankfully, my grandfather at the time knew a lady that was selling that Nissan that I have now. So we like went and we looked at it. I bought that car. But there was a week that I had to come back to London and work before I could pick up the Nissan. Jeez. So I drive my car back to London, and every day that week, it got just like a little bit worse. And the Friday, I was working in Byron, so like I'm driving like across London every day. So the last day, all I gotta do is drive to work and then like right home. So I get there and it was like kind of stalling out, like getting to work. I'm like, oh my God. I get there and I was actually driving Carl to Meaford, and then his mom was picking him up from Meaford to go North Bay. So I couldn't even like split from Byron. I had to like drive all the way across town again, pick Carl. So I'm like, Carl, I'm not turning the car off. We're just going. And he's like, all right, cool. So he like meets me, but it's like half a tank to get to Meaford, right? And I like didn't have enough gas to get to Meaford. So we drive to Listowel, which is like halfway, and like really only one of the stops that you can make for gas.
Yeah, I think that's where we stop for gas every time.
Yeah, because it's like the only place you can stop. So I'm like, okay, Carl, I gotta try to get gas. So we stop. I spent $1.60 on gas because it kept stopping. Like it wouldn't fill my car with gas. So I'm like, okay, Carl, like here we go. And like it is like all hilly over there, right? So my dad like gives me like an alternate route that's less hilly. So the way that it ended up was I was dropping Carl off in town, but the way I went like a back way where as you come to the highway and it was like a 3-minute drive to my house, but I had to drive like 10 into town, and like brakes are getting sketchy. I get Carl to the McDonald's and I literally just like he like rushes out. I'm like, see ya, and I go back home. As soon as I turn on my road, which is like pretty much all uphill, and then it goes down for a bit, and then I live on like a mountain. As soon as I turn onto my road, all the lights come on in the dash. I'm like almost out of gas. I'm like, oh fuck, and I just like floor it up this road. I like rip it in the driveway. I was so relieved, and they're like, wow, you made it. I was like, yeah, like just
that's
barely.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was so crazy. And then it sat in my parents' driveway for like 2 months, and my dad was like, you gotta get this out of here, like you gotta like go to, there's on the next like concession road, there's like just a junkyard. So he's like, drive down there, see what you can get for this car, and then you're taking it down there. So the guy's like, I'll give you $200 for it. So we go home, and it'd been sitting there for so long. I get in and I start it, and the brakes had like seized. And so my dad's like, just like floor it a little bit, and we get the brakes unlocked. And then like the brakes were still sketchy, and I have to go like down this like huge hill. Just get it there. I was like never so relieved to be like, here are the keys, like get this car out of my life. Yeah, it's too long of a drive to have a shitty car.
Yeah, no, entirely. Jeez, yeah, that's life with cars. You know, at least used cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Our family's never been rich enough. We're all poor artists, so we always have the cars that you get on a deal. And my dad's like a genius with fixing cars. Like I don't understand. Like he'll drive the car and he'll just hear something, be like, oh, that's like this front, like whatever here, or this side. You got to fix that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. So I can kind of fix cars if he tells me how to fix it. I can at least turn a wrench, but that's about it.
Yeah. I was gonna ask like if he's got old cars all the time, you'd probably learn how to fix them. You'd need to.
Grew up driving Volvos.
Yeah.
Big family.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, man.
I always laugh because like I'll call my dad, and my dad's like usually pretty good to know what's up, but there's like a couple of things he won't know. So then like he'll call his dad. Like the rest of
the chain.
Yeah, just like filling in any knowledge gaps.
Honestly, I'm gonna be calling my dad for the rest of my life, asking like,
I know.
What's wrong? Yeah, and then that van actually broke down in Toronto about 2 weeks ago, and it was the second time I'd taken it out since that first issue. We had fixed it again, and then it overheated right before getting on the Gardner in Toronto. Oh my god! We had just it was the last possible turn off, and otherwise it would have just been like we would have been stalled on the Gardner with this steaming vehicle.
Brutal.
But we got it going, made it back too, so it's still running. We got the gas tank replaced. So
yeah, that's key. Yeah, you don't want to be leaking gas.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about music. Just two guys talking about cars, and neither of us know
where. Sometime.
All right, so Summerfolk. So you get there.
We get there finally.
So like, what was the what was it like? Like, you guys obviously had some time to like probably meet lots of people, and
It was like a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
It was different than, at least in my experience, most festivals. The bands just play once, right?
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I
Yeah.
haven't been to enough
Yeah,
festivals,
yeah.
but at least that's what I'm used to. And
Right.
I don't know if this is just like a folk festival thing or if it's unique to Summerfolk, but most of the bands that were playing, unless it was like a stop on their tour,
Right.
they were playing like multiple sets throughout
Oh,
the festival. So
right.
they would be doing like 2 or 3 sets, and
Right.
one on the bigger stage, and then some smaller ones at like the wine gardens and stuff. So it was
Right.
cool because if you missed a band, you got to see them
Right.
a couple times, and we got to play 3 times while we were
Oh,
there.
that's cool.
So that was awesome.
Yeah.
And all the sets we did were like workshop style, so you're
Oh,
up there
okay.
with 2 or to 4 other bands.
Oh,
and,
okay.
you play a song, next person plays a song, and you play like maybe 3 or 4 songs throughout your
Ah,
time being
okay.
up there. But then the other bands will join in if you got some good musicians with you. So
Right.
it'd be cool because we'd be up there with like a band of like 12 people playing
Right.
along with us, and
Oh,
some
that's
really
killer.
talented musicians we got to play with that way. Great way to get to network and meet people
Yeah.
too.
Totally.
So that was awesome. Yeah, some cool bands playing there. I met Fred Penner. I don't know if
Oh,
you know
cool.
who he is. He's
Yeah,
the guy
yeah.
who wrote The Cat Came Back.
Right. Yeah.
And I went up to him and chatted with him, and I gave
Yeah.
him my CD, and I was
Right
like, "Yo,
on.
I grew up like listening to you
Yeah.
and Raffi and all that
Yeah.
stuff." So that was a highlight of the experience. And My Son the Hurricane, they were an awesome
Okay.
band, and Sylvia or Sylvie or Sylvia. I'm horrible with names. She was actually the judge when we were in London, so she
Okay.
remembered us, and we got
Yeah.
to chat with her and got some good advice from them. And so yeah, they had all these workshops organized
Right.
throughout the festival for the youth discovery people. So we
Yeah.
actually got to meet a lot of the bands that were
Killer.
doing things and get some advice on what to do next
Right.
and stuff like that. So
That's awesome.
really useful,
Yeah.
definitely, and cool experience. Great
Yeah.
chance to just play.
For
and,
sure.
Spread the music. We had gotten the
Yeah.
EP done just in time, and we
Yeah.
sold like 17 copies,
Oh,
which
nice.
was pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah.
Because like for us playing at a festival where nobody knew us,
Yeah.
like, those were.
I
I
think
was
that's-
happy with those numbers.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Someone
for
came
sure.
up to us and they were like, "Oh, I'm from the Georgian Bay Roots radio station. You're gonna
Right.
be after they had bought our EP, and they're
Yeah.
like, you're gonna be played on the radio." And I was like, "If you had told me that, I would have just given you one."
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And then they played us on the radio earlier this month, and so that
Oh,
was cool.
sweet.
So we got a lot of media attention from that,
For
which was
sure.
good. Magazine called Ramped.
Okay.
They just put out an article on us. They met and did an interview with us while we were out there,
Right
and
on.
said the Georgian Bay Roots. One lady came up to us and she was like, "I run I think it was a radio show. It was a radio show or a podcast. I think
Yeah.
it was radio. She's like on horses. And like, if you tell me a story about horses, I'll put you on my show." So we talked about horses.
That's hilarious.
And then the UTM or UFT radio station
Oh, okay.
was also there, and we did like a live to air sort of thing with them
Oh,
as well,
cool.
which was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a
That's
fun
wicked.
time.
Yeah.
Lots of cool experiences. Lots of
That's
nice
awesome.
people met. It's a great program too. It's great that they do that, and
Yeah.
as a way to sort of give the younger bands and the bands that aren't coming from like any sort of fan base
Yeah.
a chance to sort of show their stuff and get noticed.
Yeah, definitely. That's what that's like the nice thing about it kind of being like everything that area is just a small town vibe. So when like something like Summerfolk has like been a staple, like
And it was packed.
Communities,
The
yeah,
amount of people
like-
who come out to that thing is
Yeah,
crazy. So we
yeah.
were playing for, a couple hundred people depending
Yeah.
on the stage, and that was awesome. Because the other thing about folk festivals is people listen too.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which you
It's
kind of need in
definitely, like,
this
a different
genre.
vibe, yeah.
It's a lot harder to play at a bar as a folk band.
For sure, yeah.
Because you're quiet.
Yeah,
and
you
if
can't
people are
cut through,
talking,
yeah.
it can take away from it. And a lot of it is lyrical based
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
right? So you want people to sort of hear the stories
Yeah.
and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's great to play in a show in a place where there's just like 100 people and they're all listening,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they're like really intently like concentrating on what you're doing. It's an
For sure.
amazing experience. So
Yeah,
yeah, that was awesome.
that's wicked.
And we made it back without
Yeah, I
any
was
car
gonna say,
breakdown.
yeah.
So that was the good thing.
Yeah, that's good. That would really, taint the experience if it was like 20-hour round trip.
Jeez, yeah. Yeah, no, we made it back safe and sound. So
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah, that's. I knew you guys would do well over there. And that was awesome. I was stoked when you and Willem made it through.
Yeah, it was
What I was
fun
gonna
time.
ask you about, I think I was talking to Willem about it before, like in April or whatever. That like there was some clause that like you guys couldn't tour
Right.
within
It It was like it ended up not affecting us. It was like we couldn't play within 100 kilometers of the place to be, but since Owen Sound is so secluded, 100-kilometer radius, there's like maybe there's Kitchener or something that sort of hits in that spot. But like all like the places like Burlington and Hamilton, Toronto, and places we were planning to do a tour. They didn't fall under that radius, but we didn't do a tour anyways. So either way, it didn't affect us.
It didn't matter. I thought like 100 kilometers was like
it's pretty big,
pretty
big radius. And I mean, they said like if like obviously it's a contract that you could negotiate. So I feel like with a band like us, if we were like, listen, we want to do some shows on our way up to make it worth our while, they would have been like, go ahead.
Because I was gonna say
change
like
the contract. I think it's just like their general statement because it makes sense when you have like a big band that's like their main pull. Like when they had Bahamas, that was the final act, right? So you don't want like I don't know Bahamas being one like
where
a couple towns over.
Right?
I mean, it also makes sense because when you're like in Owen Sound and you're the only music festival, you want to gather people from all the nearby cities too, who don't have access to that. So, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I said that to Willem because I was like, I feel like it would help if you guys were able to tour the whole way up there,
make
as
some
opposed
money
to
on the way up.
Schedules
didn't. Summer was so crazy. I mean, just finishing the EP was hard enough, and Willem was doing that Summer of Love thing.
He did
which
that
was like a
for
musical
a
sort
bit,
of thing. Yeah, he was in
I messaged him afterwards. I was like, how'd you like it? He's like, it's cool, but like I wouldn't probably be able to spend more than a week there. And I was like, yeah, man, I spent like 18 years there, so but oh well, that's cool. So let's talk about the EP then.
Totally.
Hi Fantastical.
Finally got her out.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I meant to bring you a copy and I forgot.
It's all good.
Geronimo's
the only band to do that.
Oh, really?
I figured there'd be a trend afterwards, but nothing.
I just keep forgetting.
I'm not in it for the free stuff, you know.
You're in it for the money, obviously.
I'm in it for the money,
all those big podcasting bucks.
Yeah, I know. No, I want one.
I'll give you one. I'll get you one this week.
But anyway, so it sounds awesome, by the way.
Thanks so much.
I mean, like the songs are awesome, but like it sounds great. That was like one of the first things I started when one of the first things I thought when I put it on was I was like, this sounds like awesome.
A bunch.
Yeah. So where were you? Did you record any of it at the school, or was you doing
a
it, like,
little bit
home?
of it at the school? Most of it was just in my parents' basement.
Right.
We have a small home studio. There. My dad's an engineer. But yeah, it wasn't in a massive room.
Right.
It was very sketchy.
Yeah.
And even then, we were even more sort of a budget studio with the gear that we had.
Right.
So yeah, we did all the drums and the beds there. The stand-up bass was recorded in like a church.
Okay.
Late at night, we had access to a church.
Wow.
Just because I wanted to play with doing the stand-up bass in like a bigger room because the frequencies of a stand-up bass are like. They can be like 8 feet long at least on the lower spectrum. So I wanted to just see how it sounded if you have a place for it to breathe. And that was done at like when the church was like closed. We were able to get in there at like 11 p.m. So we'd be there 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. So the bass was done there. Cello was done everywhere between like some at the school, some in the basement. For like the part of the year we were recording it, I was living in another house that had a home studio as well, actually. So we did a lot of the cello there, which was great because that place was super isolated, which you kind of need for the cello because it's a pretty intimate instrument. And
definitely.
Anything will bleed into that really easy. And a lot of it at the school as well for that reason.
Yeah.
And then, studios, school.
Yeah.
That's sort of where it was done. But a lot of it was at my house, actually. The vocals were all done at my house, like probably the week before the EP was sent off to mastering. It was like left for the very end. The only thing we had done way earlier on was Genial Rays. We recorded that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And wasn't supposed to be part of the EP.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
There was another song, Victoria, that was supposed to be the end of it. But that was going to be sort of like the level of production as Gabrielle.
Right.
And I was like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Cut it and put Genial Rays.
Right.
But
it'll just be a single later then.
Yeah, exactly. Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so the vocals were done very last minute as well, which was painful.
Yeah.
Only for me. Like I did not like recording and sorting through and tuning and mixing my own vocals.
Yeah.
So what I actually did was I recorded a bunch of takes and I sent them to Willem and just was like, do this. Pick your favorite ones. I don't want to listen to this.
Right.
And then he did that. I still had to tune it, and I ended up going through and changing a couple like takes here and there that he chose in, but yeah, that made things a lot easier. Next time I do vocals, I'll probably just hire someone to do the whole vocal sessions.
I think vocals are way too hard to do by yourself.
Well, yeah, it's weird when you're like, I don't know if I'm delivering this right. It's like, yeah, you need someone else there.
Definitely.
And yeah, it just wasn't. It's not fun to listen to your own voice over and over again.
No.
So in the end, like I sent it away and I started mixing things, and then he sent it back way down the line, and then it was like trying to cram these vocals last minute, like 2 days before I had to send it into these mixes I had already done, which is not how you do it, especially with something where the vocals are supposed to be a center part. You want to sort of mix around the vocals. But then I'd done all these mixes, and then I was like, it's not sitting in it. And then, it drove me crazy. It was about, before we sent it off to mastering, it was probably about 2 days of not sleeping.
No
like I maybe
way.
slept like 2 hours.
Wow.
It was like it was not the ideal way you want to mix an album. Like you want a lot of room to like breathe and take breaks, and I did not take breaks. I went a little bit crazy. And it was all like a brand new setup. I had gotten brand new monitors, a bunch of new gear, and this whole new setup at my parents' studio. So I was doing it all there in a space I was a little bit unfamiliar with. So it was an interesting time. But we got it done in time, and sent it off to Rob for mastering.
Yeah.
He was a godsend. He did it very last minute for us, and I'd give him a heads up. I was like, listen, we're gonna have it around this day. Is that all right? And he's like, yeah, I'm going away on this day, so if you get to me by then, I should be good.
Yeah.
And then I ended up still getting it to him like a day late, and he still did it in time for us. So thank you, Rob Nation, for
good
that.
on Rob Nation.
And the guy who we do, I should remember the name of their company. I believe it's Second City Records, but I could be wrong. His name is Danny. And he lives out in St. Thomas. He was our CD printer.
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
he's also a godsend for projects like this because I'm just last minute with everything, right? And so I gave him a heads up and was like, we're probably going to have this by the latest this day. Once again, I was about a day later than that deadline. And can you do them for us like over the next 4 days after that day? And he was like, sure, no problem.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's nice to have those relationships with people that you can sort of trust.
For sure.
Throw things together.
Yeah.
Last minute, because once the record was done, we had to still put together the album cover. And all that sort of work. Even after the mastering was done. So it was a lot. It was a big scramble.
Yeah.
But I had these guys helping me out.
But it paid off, so it's all good.
Doing me the favor of doing it last minute for me. And we literally I think we got them like a day or two before we had to head up.
Yeah.
So, and
that's good though.
It was good to have that deadline.
Yeah.
If I'd done it another time, I done it over, I would have rather have been done earlier enough that I could have mixed it over the course of like 2 weeks and not like 2 days.
Yeah.
3 days. But
but
it is what it is. Just gotta sort of cut the cord eventually.
So you mix it yourself then?
Yep. Yeah.
Right on.
All just in the basement.
Yeah. Did you find that was like difficult, or was it like
it is? I find it's a lot more difficult to mix my stuff than other people's stuff. I like the challenge, and I thought about getting someone else to mix it as well.
Right.
Getting asking Rob about mixing it, but I mean, there were 2 reasons I didn't do that. One, we still didn't have everything recorded by time mixing came around, so I was like, I can't get anyone else to mix this.
Yeah, you're gonna be on your schedule.
Exactly. But the other reason, I don't know, I just kind of liked the challenge and like the idea of being able to mix it in a way to bring sort of the elements I wanted to see sort of forward.
Right.
I'm very attached to my babies that I create, right? So it's hard for me to let it go in that way.
Yeah.
And it was like stuff I wasn't used to mixing, which was also a challenge.
Right.
Nice. It was all acoustic, right? There was no electric guitar on it.
Right.
The only thing that was like plugged directly in, like an electric instrument, would have been like the bass guitar on some tracks.
Right.
The drum machine on one track and the Rhodes, right? But there was like no electric instruments anywhere, which was kind of weird because it was a lot of mud and a lot of gross things to mix together.
Right.
But so I enjoyed that challenge, and I want to sort of just see how to do that. That sort of the stuff, and then next time hopefully it'll get a little bit better, and I'll figure it out. But
maybe just like don't stress and
Hopefully we won't have a festival or rushing to get it done for. I mean, now we have something, right? And that was the thing. I had to rush for the festival just because it was like, well, if we don't have this, we have nothing to give away to people, so people remember us and have a takeaway. So
it would have kind of been like, no, a waste isn't the right word, but like it would have just been like, it wouldn't to like go all the way up there and have your car break down. Have a couple buttons and that's it. But yeah, so I'm glad I'm happy enough with the way it turned out, and I was gonna put the songs on like a full length later. We were gonna sort of expand it, but now I'm sort of at the point where I'm like, I just want to write new music, and like leave these songs to just rest. That's how I felt like the new songs we're writing. We're all like, oh, it's cool the EP's out, but like we're over those songs now.
And
exactly. Like the world is just getting to hear them now. So
I'm like, cool. And that's actually when we were practicing for the for the festival going up and release show and that sort of stuff. We were just goofing around so much and changing the words in the songs because we were so over it. And there was one time where we were singing the title track, High Fantastical, which we've probably been playing the longest. And we had like a full conversation, and it became sort of just like a bit as we practiced that. We would have a full conversation, and just talk through the song, talk throughout the song, because we were just so over it. And I was like, we need new songs. We really need new songs. So that's my focus right now. It's just trying to get back into the grind of writing. Which is also an issue with mixing things yourself, because then it's like when you get those like waves of creativity throughout that process, I didn't have time to actually spend time writing because I was busy recording and
so you're like hearing like new stuff while you're mixing it that you could be like
and you don't have time to focus on those things. So now I'm glad to have just that breathing room, and I got to learn how to write music again.
I know, that's how I've been feeling too. I haven't been like writing enough, but yeah, I don't know, did it feel weird like once it was finally out, because like now you got to be on to the next thing?
It does. And it is very great, because I'm just like, oh, and like even just like listening to it and being like, oh, I guess we never got to that tambourine track even that I wanted, and there's all this stuff I still wanted to do with it that we never got to, never put organ on it, all this other things, that ideas that I had, and it's just like, well, gotta do that with the next one. But it is kind of like, well, what do we do now?
That's how I felt. I had like all these promotion plans leading up, and then I'm like, like we're almost finished. Like now it's kind of like I gotta sort of get into the grind of just sending it out, right? Because it's done and it's out, but the path of it's not done yet, right? It's a lot of now the businessy stuff. I'm sure you're at too, right? It's trying to get people like you to talk to me about it, and send it off to TV, like synchronizers, to try and get it synced in things, or just send it off to radio stations, all that stuff. And so it's just going to be constant sort of hustling it now is the big thing. And Addison from Lost in Japan, he told me that his belief is that however long you spent recording an album, you should spend that much time promoting it. So it took us about a year and a half recording it, so I guess I got a year and a half to go with it. Actually on Wednesday or whatever day it was, like Snapchat does like memories now, right? And like our first day in the studio popped up, and I was like, weird. I guess we started this thing a year ago and pretty much put it out like almost a year to the day that we started recording it. That's crazy. So I'm like, ours was even far longer than that. Man. It was too long. But the funny thing is, we didn't spend a lot of time actually recording. It would be like we did drums, and then I waited like a month, and then I finally edited the drums. Right. And then like 2 months later, we did the bass. And then it probably sat for a good 4 months before we actually started recording the next part of the album. Like it just kept sitting on a hard drive and was on off to the side. Well, it's the thing when you're like in school too, and like you could kind of like pick away at it. And the majority of happiness, aside from the drums and the bass, because we literally just had drums and the bass, it might not have even all been edited until like literally 2.5 weeks before the EP was sent off. Probably maybe 3 weeks at the most. So we did it all, and like it was just kind of like, okay, we got to finish this song. So I was like, man, going forward for the next album, I just want to be a little more on top of things. And I mean, when I'm not as focused on the recording in school, now that we're in audio post-production, now I'm able to sort of focus more energy on hopefully the music recording for our band and not on other stuff. That we'll be able to get things done a little bit quicker. Right on. But I don't know, figuring it out. Do you have any like like promotion plans right now that you're just like waiting to execute on, or like besides sending it to everybody?
Nothing super huge. I want to start doing some more booking of shows. We've never really
Right.
played aside from Moon Sound outside of London.
Right.
And we've sort of got a decent enough sort of group of people who will come out to see us in
Yeah.
London. So I'd like to start not even booking a tour, just booking the odd shows like in Hamilton and in the GTA. Like Becca, our cello player, she now goes to school in Toronto.
Oh, cool.
So we got a totally different lineup now.
Yeah.
We should just talk about that a little bit later
really?
on.
Yeah.
But she's off there, and so it'll be easy to sort of go to Toronto and play some shows in the GTA way. Because she'll already be out there.
Yeah, there's no shortage of venues in Toronto.
Exactly. So yeah, I just want to start playing different places and getting in touch with some other bands to do shows, like on Lost Arts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our grunge folk
I can't
show.
wait for that show.
Yeah, and like I said, just writing music.
Right.
And working on introducing the new musicians.
Yeah. Yeah, what happened there?
Well, that's part of the idea with the family, right? We're going to keep growing the collective
Yeah.
and meet people who we can grab to play with. So now we got Lliam James Cowan
Oh,
actually
nice.
joining us on at our last show. We did a show at the Pickle earlier this month, which is a good show. And we had Lliam on keys and guitar. He did some of that stuff. And
Right on.
we had our buddy Matt Stewart, who plays some shows with us when Keegan couldn't do it before.
Okay.
But then we got him doing like percussion, and we have Keegan actually on a kit now.
Oh, cool.
So it's good to have that drum kit, which is nice because Keegan normally plays cajon and like Kong and stuff with us. But then when it came time to record the EP, he was like, well, how are we going to do this with a kit now? So now he's already on a kit and figuring things out, which is great. And Matt Stewart's like the most hilarious person I've ever met. So our banter is really gone up, which is like, I think a big part of being like a band. You got to be entertaining. It's so entertaining to,
especially like I feel like with the folk thing, like it's always like it's so intimate, like between songs.
People like and you like the storytelling in between songs is like a big part of things, which I'm always like, if I was good at talking to people about the stories of my songs, I wouldn't have written the songs, right?
Yeah.
So I got someone else to do that, and that's good old Matt. And he's joining us on some vocals. And then we had Imogen come up and sing Safety Dance with us,
cool.
like we did in Share the Land last year. And we had her sing another song with us, just sort of off the cuff. Like we hadn't rehearsed it at all. I was just like, hey, you're here, want to come up? And, and then I was like, you want to do more shows with us? And she was like, yeah. So we have probably rehearsal this week with her and the whole group for the first time. And that's sort of our London. Our London 2018 to 2019 group.
Right.
Hopefully we'll be able to get back every now and then. Jared's long gone for the school year to because he lives out and he goes to school in Brockville, which is out near Kingston.
Right. Yeah. It's a bit of a drive.
A bit of a trek.
Yeah.
So we won't be seeing him at least until maybe Christmas break. Or so. But yeah, so brand new group of musicians and getting them all up to speed, which is nice because you get new ideas and new energy. Yeah,
for sure.
And it's inspires new ideas, and it's fun. Like I said, we didn't have any electric guitar before, so it's fun having that.
Yeah.
And they'll sort of it adds a lot. I find he does a lot. William's good at that sort of ambient sort of style guitar playing, which just adds like a nice harmonic sort of pad below things. And Imogen's vocals are amazing. Right. So I'm super excited to have her. Everyone brings their own sort of stuff to the group, right? Yeah. So it's interesting, and I love dynamics of people. Right. Just sort of seeing how a group of people interacts together, and then when you add one other person to the mix, it changes things the whole time. Yeah. And not in a bad way. You just get these different sort of energies with groups of people. So it's fun to experiment with that. Yeah. And just it keeps things fresh, right? For sure. And our old jokes that were starting to get old are now funny again because we aren't used to them. And they're like, what? It's
like genuine laughter. Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So there's been a question that I've been adopting for this like second season, if we should jam sometime. It's like a two-parter. Are there any like local, when I say local, like maybe Southern Ontario or whatever, bands that you are like kind of been like scouting out that you want to either open for or like play a show with, like of any sort of
Lost Arts.
Obviously us,
Lost Arts. Lliam James Cowan, obviously we've done a couple shows with him. No, some other bands that I would like to play with.
Yeah, and or artists, I guess.
Totally. I was talking to Serena Haggerty.
Okay, I saw her at that Cowboys show.
Yeah,
she's really good.
She just started at MIA,
Yeah,
right? She just started. She's in first year this year. And I'm looking into doing more booking at Taproot, which is a venue above the Root Cellar. So I'm at least going to book a show for her, and then probably we'll play a show together down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of funny because it's all people who I've been meaning to email, and now I'm like,
you're like
to email like low key and be like, hey, do you want to? And now I'm gonna like be like, hey, other people. I would love to do something with Posey at some point.
Oh, okay,
because her and me go back to high school.
Oh, really?
We're good, and I saw her in London just earlier this weekend. She was in town, and we were chatting back and forth.
Cool.
Just reminiscing.
Yeah, right.
I used to be in a band with her brother.
Oh, okay,
which
cool.
is the funny part, and she was like best friends with my sister.
Yeah.
So I'd love to do something with her, especially when we get Imogen
Yeah.
going, because Imogen's a super strong female vocalist.
Yeah,
so the two of them, I think, would go together well. But we'll see. Who else? There's definitely more. Taylor Holden would be great.
Oh, yeah, that would be
to
cool.
do something with her.
Yeah.
She's now gone a little more punk and grungy, I think, or like rock sort of pop.
Right.
She used to be like straight folk.
They
right?
rebranded.
Yeah, they rebranded. Now they're now Averages.
Mm-hmm.
But she still does some folk stuff on the side. So we've been talking about playing together for a while, but haven't gotten around to it. So I could see something there down the road. I'm really excited for in October. We got this thing that London Fuse is organizing.
Okay.
It's called Band on Bands.
Oh.
And there's actually some groups there that I've been hoping to play with. Major Minor. Hiroshima Hearts.
Oh,
One of the groups that's playing too.
Jen's super cool.
Yeah.
I met her in the summertime.
So those are some groups that I've been looking forward to playing with, and we got a show with them. And the Bands on Bands things, it's like they're getting these 5 or 6 groups together. I think it's 5, and we're all going to be playing. Our sets are going to be 4 songs. They're going to be songs by the other bands that are playing. So we're
saw that. Yeah.
So we're covering the other bands that are at the event.
That's
cool. That's going to be super cool.
Yeah.
And, we were just messaging in the group chat earlier today, and all the bands are just telling us what songs they're going to be covering. And so it'll be funny to hear these bands covering our songs and to cover these bands. That's going to be a super cool sort of local event.
That's funny because it's always like such an MIA joke. Or if you're like a Nella, you actually do it and cover everybody's song. Yeah, I remember seeing that, and I was like, "That's an interesting."
It's a great idea, I think, because local bands don't normally get covered.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's a cool thing.
And be cool with like, to have like an Esther's Family song with like Hiroshima Hearts twist. That'd be cool.
There's some Guelph musicians who I'd love to play with.
The
Lifers, we met them when we were out at Summerfolk.
Cool.
And they're all good friends with my buddy Tim Watson, who I'd also love to do a show with. Actually, they have some musicians playing in their group who've played with him before. And right now, him and this other good friend of mine, Nyla, are writing an album that I'll hopefully be doing some producing and engineering for. And it's on the Narnia books. So they sort of split up the Narnia books, and they're each writing a couple of songs, one for each book in the series.
Oh, awesome.
So I don't know, maybe I'll have to bug them to get some shows going once that project sort of come to fruition, and then hopefully play with them. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Well, the second part, or to make it even harder or easier, is just any like your dream like band or
dream
artist
band
that you could open for.
Stephen Page.
Oh yeah.
I had a dream literally last night. Actually, a dream about him. And I think the Bare Naked Ladies, like both entities last night, because they're like a huge influence to us. And I love both, because now Stephen Page and the Bare Naked Ladies have gone their separate ways. The actual dream would be to play with the Bare Naked Ladies in like the 1990s.
Right, yeah.
Because a lot of that music from like Gordon, and that sort of stuff, just huge influence on me and my songwriting, and sort of our style when the Bare Naked Ladies were doing those folk, more acoustic things, with the stand-up bass and stuff earlier on. So if I could open for that generation of Bare Naked Ladies, to be a dream. But Stephen Page, he does some amazing stuff. The Bare Naked Ladies are still doing great, but Stephen Page has really taken off since going his separate way, and his music's amazing. His songwriting's just so intelligent, I think, and the production on his first album, Page One, is really what inspired the production on High Fantastical. Actually, it's got these massive orchestral things, and so that was a big part of I think the influence on forming Esther's Family, to be honest.
Cool.
Hands down.
Right
Stephen
on.
Page.
I'm gonna check it out. I haven't heard that album.
It's a great one, and he just put out 2 or 3 years ago, he put out another one. And it was like part 1, and he just is putting out part 2, I think, this year. So
cool.
Yeah, he's got some good music.
Right on. That's awesome. What have you you have anything that you want me to like check out right now? Like, what have you been listening to?
What have I been listening to? Valley.
Okay.
That's actually a band I would love to play with.
Okay. Are they like local? Or
they're Toronto.
Okay, cool.
There's not massive,
right?
But they're starting to take off. And
right
actually, I was introduced to them by Tyler, who books for Fanshawe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When I was working in the over the summer for the newspaper there, his office was right next to my desk, so we got chatting a lot. And he was like, "Check out this band. They're great. They're from Toronto."
Yeah.
And they're kind of like folk, pop, rock, sort of all those genres kind of mixed together. Kind of like, yeah. I don't even know how to describe them. They're kind of like Arkell sort of meets Bon Iver vibes.
Cool.
Yeah, and they've got a great sound, and I've been listening to them a ton and trying to draw some inspiration from them for writing. It's been a fun time because I've been like seeking out new artists, just to sort of get the creative juices flowing again. Yeah. There's a band I was listening to today. I believe they're called Minor. I think is their name, like Miner.
Okay.
They're pretty cool folk vibes. Foster the People's new album.
Oh yeah.
Didn't like it the first couple of times round I listened to it, and then I listened to it today on like big speakers.
Yeah.
And really like cranked it. And I was jamming out to that. So that was a good one. I think it's called Lonely Hearts Club or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And there's one other one I was just thinking of. Punch Brothers. I've been listening to a lot of those because I hadn't listened to them. They've been around for a while. People are always like, listen to the Punch Brothers.
Yeah.
And especially a good buddy of mine who I used to busk a ton with, and he plays mandolin, and he was a big Punch Brothers fan. And I'm hoping to get him involved in the next project coming up. So I was like, got to get some mandolin inspiration. And they're great, super talented band.
Cool.
Songwriting there. So yeah.
Right on. Are you still busking? That's what I was gonna ask
tomorrow is my first day busking since like the beginning of the summer. I haven't been there in forever.
Wow. Now you can bring the CDs, set up a little merch spot.
Yeah. Well, I was working full time over the summer for the newspaper, and then didn't have the energy on a Saturday to get up for the sixth day in a row at 9 a.m. So I slept in on the Saturdays. But yeah, now that I'm not doing that anymore, and schedule's opened up, I'll be back at it again.
Cool.
Me and Willem and Keegan have all been working for the City of London though throughout the summer, which is kind of busking. It's called London Arts Live, so we're hired to play at like corporate events and festivals and stuff like that. And we just sort of busk, but we're hired to busk. Sort of deal.
No, it's not a bad deal at all.
It's a good gig. It's a fun one, and we get to play in some unique situations.
I bet.
Just because we never know where we're gonna be, right? Outside events and some inside things, some things for like city workers we were playing at the other day. And, we're playing for Culture Days, which is coming up through that. So
cool.
That was a fun gig.
Right on.
So yeah, still sort of doing the busking thing, but haven't in a while.
Yeah. Right on. That's awesome. That's like that's a really good way to promote your band.
It's awesome. And I gotten some cool opportunities from it. Like the lady who books me at the market that I busk at the Western Fair market, she actually booked me for the Isle of Local stage at the Western Fair when it happened. So that was good, and a lot of gigs sprung out of that. Some people who heard me there. Yeah. And other people who have just like were walking through the market and they're like, "Oh, I own this restaurant. Do you want to come in and play there?" Right? Yeah. So I've got a lot of people who just sort of know me from the market. They're like, "You're that guy." Yeah. Wears the hat and plays you. Actually. I don't know
if I told you that or not. She was like,
your neighbor, her mom owns the place or something like that. I think I know the lady who owns the booze market. Her name's Edna. Edna. She's great.
Yeah. She was like, that guy that's in your program. Yeah. He's busking. I'm like, oh yeah, Liam. Yeah.
I love her. She's great. She always gives me apples.
Oh yeah, she's super nice. Yeah.
Sweetheart.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to have neighbors like that.
Exactly. But yeah, it's a good place to sort of experiment with things.
Right.
To sort of try out new songs when no one's listening.
For
and
sure.
Just mess up and not care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
There's that saying, you need a place to be bad. And so the market's a good place to be bad.
Yeah. Wicked.
Yeah.
Is there what's like anything coming up for Esther's family you want to tell people about? Anything I haven't asked about?
Anything coming up? Yeah. We're hoping to start recording an EP potentially This is very, very tentative right now.
Yeah, considering what we've talked about the last 40 minutes.
The dream would be to have a Christmas EP out for December.
Damn.
But it's a bit of a tight schedule.
Yeah.
And I've had a bunch of other projects. When we'd finished the EP, it looked like it was feasible.
Right.
But then I had a bunch of other unrelated projects come up. Like I'm mixing a short film right now.
Oh,
doing
cool.
some other stuff like that. So that sort of took away my time to write Christmas music, which is really hard to do in the summer.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was gonna say like a Christmas like originals album.
Yeah, so the goal will be one or two originals, and then like 3 or 4 like traditionals that are done in like a folky sort of style.
Yeah.
And keep it real simple.
Yeah.
And not nearly as crazy as the last one, just sort of like a jam sort of album.
Yeah.
So if all goes well, we would have something like that.
Right.
But if not, you can keep your eyes peeled for next.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about it for a while.
That's a great idea.
And then, the big song everyone likes, If I Call.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
That's the one that everyone loves.
Yeah. You know, have some fan participation.
People are upset that it wasn't on the EP.
Yeah, I bet.
That one, So that one, we're hoping to put it out as a single in like February or early to year to sort of hype an album.
That's probably the better move, I would think.
Yeah, actually, I was at Canada Music Week this year, and I ended up running into Randy Bachman.
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
Like he had he was doing this sort of mentorship cafe thing where you'd go and talk to him. So I went up and chatted with him for a while, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, I can't remember, there was some band he was producing, and they had this great song, and it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember what it was, but it's one of those sort of like classic sort of songs. And they had it up for their first album. He was like, you're not going to release this right now. This is your song for your third album. Because you want to build up the hype and you want to build your way there. If you put out your best song right away, there's nowhere to go. Right. And if no one's really listening to you on your first album, what's the point of putting it out, right? You want to get that fan base and then put out the song that everyone likes. So
those
I was
are
like,
tough pills to swallow when you're like at like our level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't even know how I would respond to something like that.
No, yeah.
Because you're like, third album? That's not real. That doesn't happen.
I was like, I haven't even finished writing.
Yeah.
I've only got like 3
trying to
songs
get these
in.
mixes done.
Exactly. But that's why I was like, yeah, that's a good point. So I was sort of thinking about that with this song. Like, gotta hold off for a little bit. Because I like the song. I wrote it knowing it'd be a song that I would hate eventually because people would like it.
Right.
And then they play it a lot.
Yeah.
But because I knew that, I don't really hate it. And so, that'll come out probably early next year as a follow-up of the Christmas sort of idea, if that happens. And then we'll have an album sometime after that.
Cool.
So sort of just try to keep content flowing.
Yeah, once you like, that's what I've been thinking about recently is like, all right, the train's like kind of moving now. But you gotta like make sure it's... Once it like starts, it has to keep going.
Exactly.
Or people are gonna get off, you know.
Yeah, and next summer we will only be able to like tour Southwestern Ontario realistically because I'm gonna be in school. I have a program. It started in September next year, but it turns out it actually starts in May, and it's a 3-semester program. I thought it went September until through the summer of the next following year, right? But it actually starts summer of 2019.
So you're gonna be in school for like...
I was like, and I had like this like this crisis in the middle of the summer when I was working full time and then the nighttime working on this album and having no breaks at all.
Right.
And I found that out and I was like, I'm not having another summer vacation until 2020. So that was stressful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll just do some shows on the weekends, I guess, in the summer in Southwestern Ontario. And it's in Oakville, so I'll be a little bit closer to the GTA.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the following summer, hopefully the goal will be to sort of branch out a little bit farther with things, and I'll be done school at that point. So
right on.
A little more time to focus on
things.
And
that's crazy.
We'll
that's gonna be hectic.
It's gonna be a crazy year. So yeah, thankfully the course we're in right now, audio post-production, is chill for the time being. I have other projects, like I said, keeping me too busy still.
Right.
But once those projects are out of the way, I'll have some more time to sort of spend on the music, I think.
Yeah. I feel like I've
been
like trying to recalibrate right now. I'm finding like the way our school schedule is I haven't like, my head hasn't switched over to like school time yet. And
it was funny because I go to class and it's 2 days a week.
Yeah.
So I go to class on Tuesday and then I come, I go in on Wednesday. And I'm like, well, Friday's here.
Yeah. Because it's right in the middle of the week.
Yesterday was Monday and today is Friday.
Yeah. It's totally how it feels. And I'm like, I really need to be focusing on like these projects and stuff, and my head is like not there. But
been watching too much Netflix.
I know. I know, because then when I get like free time, I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything.
The thing is, like I said, I had no summer break this year really, because I was working like 35 hours a week, and then in the nighttime I was doing this album, which is fun. But I had no time to sort of like just chill out.
It also is important to just like have a night where you do
you need
nothing.
that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's really important. And I didn't have that for the longest time.
Yeah.
So now that through the beginning of this year, super chill, I'm just like, you know what? I deserve it. I'm gonna lie in bed all day and watch some Netflix.
That's just how I feel. I know. And then you got to get yourself.
And then you're like, oh, I'm so unproductive. And then you feel guilty about lying in bed all day.
I find myself being at work, like I'm so motivated for like after work, and then I get home.
Yeah, then you get home and you're like
dead.
If you sit down when you get home, it's game over.
It is game over. I know.
You got to sort of keep that momentum going.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been failing at that recently.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like, and I like cut grass and stuff. So like I have to come home and shower.
Right.
So like come home, shower, starting to relax a little bit, grab some dinner, and then it's like 7:30, 8, and I'm like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, and there's some stuff I need to do, and like ideally I need to go to sleep at like 11, so I don't really have much time left to like. Yeah. It's a brutal cycle.
That's the way it goes. I'm excited for being done school.
Yeah, me too.
I just think it'll be weird, because that was the thing, is like when I was working full time in the summer, and when I'm at school, it's like I have all these other projects going on the side. It's not just like school, go home and sleep, or work, go home and sleep. It was like work on this part-time job, this full-time job, and then go home and still keep these other sort of, because being in a band is a full-time job too, especially when you're the person who's taking care of the business side of things, as you know. So it's like, it would be like, do that and then go home and do all this sort of stuff. But it'll be nice when that is my job. And that is taking the place of school, right? When you're done that, and you're not working throughout the summer to save money to go to school. It's just you're working to sustain yourself. And part of this stuff, the income that you're making is coming from the music side of things, right? Whether it doesn't have to be necessarily the band side of things. It can be
whatever.
Like I teach music lessons. And I play like some of those sort of corporate sort of style of gigs and things like that, and that's still keeping you sort of creative and still keeping an income going. So I'm looking forward to being done school. And making the music the main. Take the place of that, right?
And you need to keep up on that, like even when you are busy with school or whatever. Like, I mean, you have cool jobs. I'm cutting grass, so it is like I can't wait to not have like a summer job. Like I'm really stoked for that.
This is my first, like this past summer was my first time just doing a job like that.
Right.
So I was like, let's see. And it was not for me, to be honest. It killed my soul a little bit.
I know.
I like creating jobs. I don't like working for people in the same place.
Definitely. I think that's the musician.
It is. It very much is. I still work for the paper, but it's part-time, and that's a lot better because it gives me more time on the side and just the full-time hours. I was like, honestly, like 35 hours a week of recording music or like writing music would kill my soul as well. It's just like you need variation. I was going into an office every day and just sitting at a desk for 6 hours. It's just like
no good.
You need to do other things as well.
For sure.
I would say like just because like music or like engineering or that sort of thing is something I'm passionate about doesn't mean it has to be the only thing I'm passionate about. Like your career doesn't have to be your only passion, right? And I think a lot of people,
I think that's the move,
forget that at times, and you hear like, and you meet engineers or musicians in the industry and you're like, you're not gonna have any social life or any relationship. Like I've been divorced 3 times, all that sort of stuff. And then you meet people like Dan, and he's got a family that he loves, and kids,
Dan,
and he loves to just like build like stuff around his house and do all this sort of other stuff, make guitars, make groups.
I know, when you post photos and stuff on like Instagram or whatever, I'm like, man, I'm jealous of your life, dude. Like,
exactly.
It's so cool.
But he hasn't, I think he's like, he's recognized that there's other passions in life that are important. Like just because you're like, I'm gonna be a musician doesn't mean you just have to do music, right? Or you just have to. You doesn't mean 24/7. That's what you have to be doing, right?
And I think like you grind away for a bit, and then you get to like a level where you get comfortable, like like good. Like if you become like financially comfortable,
exactly,
you gain so much more freedom. From
it doesn't. Right? You don't have. It doesn't take a lot to, I think, like sustain yourself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And like you say, live comfortably.
Yeah.
You don't have to be
making
a ton.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm not
If you
one
keep your
for the
threshold
luxuries
low,
of life, right? It's like living creatively.
Yeah. That's perfect.
So yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Sort of the goal of things is to get to that point eventually one day.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Just you don't need to like have high priced cars.
No.
Learn how to fix your shitty car.
Exactly. It all comes full circle. Here we go.
And on that note, is there anything else we need to address?
That's about it. Go to estersfamilyband.com.
Links in the description.
We're on all streaming sites now.
Oh, fuck yeah. That feels good, eh?
Yeah. It's real nice to get it out there. We're accessible.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's about all I got.
Cool. You got your Spotify for Artists page?
I do.
Yeah, I didn't find out about that until we were up there for like a couple months.
Cool features back. We're gonna start doing some playlists.
Right on.
Like we're gonna start making some playlists. Like you said, asking music that we're interested in. So putting together some playlists of just like stuff that sort of inspired the album.
Right on.
Sort of inspiring the next writing. So,
cool.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that.
Right on.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool. That's about all I got.
Join the collective.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Anytime.
It's been a blast.
You're always welcome.
We're actually gonna,
so easy to talk
We're going to pack this up and then I'm going to interview you for my newspaper
Double
job.
interview. And then get the newspaper.
Head to fsu.ca or .com/interrobang.
There you go.
Is what it is. Something like that. Just search Interrobang. Fanshawe newspaper or whatever. You'll be able to read about these Lost Arts boys in a couple weeks.
Wicked. All right, man.
It's been a blast.
Thank you.
Thank you.